What up, guys? Welcome to Be My Travel Muse. I'm Kristen, and today we're going to be talking about how to take an amazing Instagram photo from start to finish. So first of all, I just want to let you know that I started from not a professional place. In fact, my photos really sucked in the beginning. They were oversaturated, they were not very well thought out, and pretty much no one wanted to follow me. And I can't really blame them because the photos were just not good. I was traveling in amazing places, but the content that I was coming out with was just not impressive. So over the past 7 years that I've been using Instagram, it's really only been over the past 3 that I've been able to really up my game and grow my following. So over that time, I developed a step-by-step system that is not too hard to follow, so don't worry. And it's a great way for you to learn how to become a better photographer, especially if you're taking pictures of yourself. And by the end of this video, you will know how to plan out your shots, how to take photos of yourself, how to edit and crop in such a way that works for Instagram, and how to hopefully learn a little bit more and continue on this path thereafter. So be sure to stick around because every step of this process is super important. And if you like videos like this, make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss any in the future. So I have a trip coming up to the Amalfi Coast in Italy. I'm going there at the recommendation of a friend who recommended the town of Priano because it's smaller, doesn't have as many people, and that is right up my alley. That said, apart from this recommendation, I don't know a whole lot about it. So what I always do actually before I go on a trip is I start my research in the very place where my photo is gonna end up later, Instagram. So this is my Instagram, and you'll notice that I like to do a lot of sort of outdoorsy photos and that I am almost always in my pictures. And as I begin my research, I go to the location tab and then I type in the place that I plan on going. And thus my research begins. So the first thing that I'm seeing is a lot of bright blue colors. Obviously it's on the coast, so I fully expected that. But I am seeing a lot of warm and cool tones. So I've got orange and I've got blue and I've got some white as well. And it kind of looks to me like the best place to take photos are on these terraces when the sun is going down, or even in the middle of the day when the water is super lit up, because it just looks like an incredible color. And I also see a really cool shot of someone in the water. That looks pretty cool. And I'm seeing a lot of orange. So it looks like a lot of people are at a place that has orange on the beach, and I can dig that. I like the color orange. There it is. I really like this table and chairs that's on a balcony looking at the ocean. I think pretty much every hotel has this. I know the place that I'm staying at will have it. So I would love to get a photo like that while I'm out there. Would love to get a photo down at the beach, and would definitely love to get a photo of the view of Positano. I really think it's going to be fun actually to put the phone down, and as I go about my day, try to discover new things that maybe other people haven't done yet. But I like to start with this as a basis because it gives me an idea of what to expect color palette wise, and also maybe some activities that I'm not aware of yet, and some places that I might want to go shoot. However, when I'm looking for inspiration, I do always make it a point to make it my own. So just make sure that when you're doing your research, it's not with the intention of outright copying anyone. It's just for the intention of learning and seeing what your environment's going to be like when you arrive. I'm not done with the research yet. I do it on Instagram, but then I don't stop there. Next, I head to Pinterest. Let's get to it. So here I am on Pinterest, and this is my account if you want to follow, shameless plug. And I'm going to do a quick search for the Amalfi Coast in Italy and see what comes up. Now, the first thing I notice before anything else is that there is a very clear color palette of warm pastels and very cool but super blue colors in this palette. Unlike an area like, let's say, Greece, where you've got these whitewashed buildings in Santorini and the super blue ocean, on the Amalfi Coast, a lot of the buildings have some color, so it would be a good idea maybe to pack some outfits that represent the greens that I see in the environment, but also the warm colors like these oranges that I see in the buildings. As I scroll down, I really like this idea of getting a photo on the balcony just like I was liking it on Instagram, and I think what I would do is try to have a bit more symmetry here, but I do like the idea of having a person in the photo. So this just gives me an idea of what I could encounter there that could be really interesting for photos. Again, I'm not doing this to copy anyone, but I am doing it because I think that I can get some good ideas of a hike that I hadn't heard of before, maybe some things that I could do while I'm there, and maybe even some really good places to take photos. Okay. So now that I've done some preliminary research, I'm going to go into my closet and see what I might have in there that will work well for my surroundings. If you don't have anything that you think is going to work super well, which I highly doubt, you can probably find something in there that's going to work, I would thrift. I think that it's a great way to support the local economy. You can find some really cool funky stuff. This is from a thrift store. But I do know that I have some things in my closet that will work, so I'll pick out some things that I think will be perfect for my Praiano photo shoot. All right. So obviously I'm gonna bring more than 3 outfits with me, but I just wanna show you some key pieces that I'm pretty sure I'm going to have on in some of the photos. This white dress is perfect because white is always good with the blues, and I think it is a really nice contrast between all of the warm colors that we're going to have, as well as a really nice sort of opposite color for the blue. And when you're wearing white, all of the other colors in your surroundings can really pop. I absolutely love this orange dress. It's backless, it's beautiful. I've been waiting for the right opportunity to wear it, so all of the oranges that I was seeing in the Praiano photos during my research were super encouraging. So I am very excited to wear this like 70s-esque sort of burnt orange color when I'm out there. And then finally, sort of keeping on the 70s theme, I've got this green romper that I've been waiting to wear. It's also backless, so it's perfect for the seaside. I think it's going to be really beautiful at night. It's super lightweight. I think it's going to look really good anywhere where there's any green. I think it's going to play really well off of the blue and the oranges as well. Okay, so now you've got a little bit of an idea of what goes into the planning phase of doing the Instagram photos. So this is like the first half of the steps basically, but the biggest thing is obviously once you get there. So first thing I need to do is get to Rome.
Buongiorno from Roma.
Then I need to get on a train. And then I need to get on a bus. And then I need to get on another bus. And then I will be in Praiano, and then we will start the tutorial. I will see you there.
Okay, we've arrived in Salerno, and now it's time to jump on a bus to Amalfi, and then from Amalfi to Praiano. Good morning, guys. So I'm now in Praiano, Italy, and I'm just looking around the place that I'm staying because this is a great opportunity here. Most of the places here have a really wonderful outdoor place, especially this one. It's huge, it's amazing, and the first thing I see upon waking up is this outside in front of me. So I think that if I flip this sideways, this can be a really beautiful photo. It's nice and symmetrical, and it's really easy for me to take by myself. I can even just use this table here sort of as a tripod, or I can probably make one of these chairs work. As you can see, I'm ready. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. All right, got something more fancy on for my breakfast date, and I'm thinking higher up would be better, and I really want to get the symmetry of the door frame in this beautiful blue, so I'm going to use this chair and then tripod to get the height that I need. So it's always a balancing act. It's very interesting. So you can see here to really get this awesome symmetry that we have. So yeah, let's give it a try.
about to go up and hike the Path of Gods, which is a pathway that goes across sort of the top of the Amalfi Coast. Not the whole thing, but part of it. I think it's going to be a really good opportunity to take some beautiful photos. There is a downpour predicted, but it hasn't been right the other days, so I mean, it looks pretty good. Let's go. The thing about Praiano is, oh my god, there are a lot of stairs. But that's how you get this amazing terraced look all over, and some nice calf muscles and a nice booty, if I do say so myself. I'm not out of breath, you are. Weather's turning on me, but I'm persevering. I kind of knew that was coming, didn't I? So I am going to take a shot here because it's amazing behind me. There's Positano. I've been walking along the Path of Gods for about an hour. I came up so many stairs and now I'm rewarded with this amazing view. So there's a few different ways that I can take this photo. First, I'm going to prop my camera on these rocks behind me and do a timer selfie. I can also connect my phone and my camera, which I often do if I'm going to be a bit farther away. Or I can do an intervalometer. So if your camera has that function, you can do that as though you were taking a time lapse. And I go into a lot more detail on how to do each one of these things in my course, but for the purposes of this video, so it's not 3 hours long, I'm just telling you what I do. So first I'm going to set up the camera, and then I think I'm also going to ask someone to help me take a photo as they walk by. There's plenty of people on this trail, and I often do set up a shot and then ask someone to take it for me, and I come up with a lot of really good shots that way. So finished up the Path of Gods, and I got totally downpoured on that night, so this is a different night, and I'm going to go out and explore all of the many alleyways and staircases and viewpoints in the town that I'm staying in, Praiano. There's so much potential to find amazing places for photos, so I'm super excited to see what it looks like as sunset sets. I don't know how much color I'm going to get tonight, but that's what I've got to work with, so let's head out and see what we can find. So I've come to obviously a really beautiful view behind me, and I would normally want to take a picture in a place like this, but there's a couple things that I'm always thinking about, and one is, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bunch of power lines here, so that's going to make a photo less beautiful, and there's this big kind of ugly fence. So I have a feeling there are going to be a lot more opportunities to get this beautiful view behind me, or maybe in some of the other directions. And we had this really nice unobstructed view on the Path of Gods, and then we had some really pleasing symmetry in the morning breakfast shot. So I'm always looking for things like that to make a photo really beautiful, and then I start to think about the different angles that I can get. So my search continues, but I just wanted to show you that this is a really beautiful spot, but I have my reasons for not taking the photo here. Okay, this is stunning, and thankfully I do have a little bit of a helper here as far as propping the camera to take a photo, because I think taking it with a tripod is the easy way. So I just want to show you how I'll often use my environment in order to make it work when I don't have a tripod. So I'm going to control it with my phone to take selfies that way, and I'm gonna take this off for a moment because the real magic of this outfit is the back. Okay, so I'm going to do this by using my phone as a remote. So I'm using the Imaging Edge Mobile, which is Sony's new way of doing it. And then I'm going to connect it to the camera. a wrap on Italy. Gonna fly home today, and I will jump into the editor's seat next time I see you back at home to go through the photos. And this is kind of the most important part actually, is picking the photos that look the best, cropping them the right way, and obviously editing them. This is actually such a big part of the process that I think a lot of people when they're starting out don't do, but all of your favorite Instagrammers are definitely editing their photos. So I'm going to show you exactly how I do that when I see you next time. Welcome to the editing part of this tutorial. So obviously when you're taking photos of yourself or when you're asking other people to take photos for you, it's not always going to turn out exactly as you wanted it to straight out of the camera. But that is why we edit, because we can really bring our own personal style to the table here, and we can also fix all the things that are wrong with it. Well, not all the things, but a lot of the things. So I don't know about your camera, but my editing software actually cuts off part of what is usually supposed to be in the shot. So I will go back to the original so that I have everything that the camera captured here. And then you can probably tell here that the horizon is not lined up. So that is something I fix first. Now, if you remember when I was going through the Pinterest photos, I was saying that I wanted something to be a bit more symmetrical, which it is obviously not right now. So I'm going to go over here and click this lock to open. And then that means that I can just change this whatever way I want to. There are also some sort of preset crops that you can select, but I usually like the freedom of doing it on my own. So since I don't love this shadow, I'm just going to take it out. And I'm going to bring it in here and bring it in here to see if I like that, and maybe bring it in here too. Let's see what happens. Ooh, okay, I would say that's a lot better than it originally was. I can probably make it look even a bit more symmetrical by doing that, because the windowsill is not really the important part here. Maybe a bit too much. And I really like that crop more than the original one for sure. And next I want to see if I can make some of these colors pop a little bit more, because when I was there in person, that blue was a lot more dazzling, and the orange of my dress, I kind of want to make that pop too. So I'm going to go over here to some presets that I've already made. Boom. That one looks a lot better. So if we're going to go over how to do the editing in terms of the coloring and the shading and the highlights and all that, that is another video entirely. In fact, that's a whole other sort of module and course, and that is something that I go over in my course, is how to edit and make your own presets. But for now, I like to just go through the ones that I've already created, but sometimes you want to take the highlights down, or maybe you want to take the shadows up, or do something else. Maybe you want to boost just one color, or give it a bit more of like a warm tone. So if you do end up deciding to get Lightroom, which you should if you want to be on the professional level, you should play around with it and come up with your own thing. You can buy presets from people, but that's not going to be your unique style. So just some food for thought. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I just want to show you how important it is to do the edits and to do the crops as well, so that you can get an end result that looks really good. And then finally, I have this one from the Path of the Gods that you guys saw me sort of ask someone to help me out with that. It was kind of rough that day. We have a pretty difficult sky here, and I'm not a big fan of the lack of color, especially when it looked so amazing in person. So the first thing that I'm going to do again is crop it. And I really like shooting with a wide angle lens so that I can go back in later and crop as needed. And then I just feel like I've got less of that super white blown out sky. So again, I'm going to go through my presets here and see if I have anything that would look really good on here. I think that one looks pretty good. I'm just going to move the blacks a bit so that it brightens a bit, but overall I like that one. Now, one little trick I want to show you when the sky is not looking so great is to take the graduated filter tool, drag it along the top here, and I will boost the clarity quite a bit just to bring out a little bit more detail in the clouds. Now, if that ends up making them look kind of scary and ominous, you can always bring the highlights up or see what happens when you play with the contrast, but I just feel like this gives me a little bit more in the sky that isn't there otherwise.
And then if it's a sunset or something like that, the clarity can be really helpful as well. Or if you really want to push the limits of reality a bit, like you've probably seen on Instagram plenty before, you can even sort of add in a sunset if you want to. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to alter it too much from what it already was. I just want to make it a better version of what it was. So to me, that is perfect. And again, when we're posting on Instagram, I find that doing these photos sort of up and down portrait mode is just more successful because people are scrolling when they're on Instagram and it's going to take them longer to get through this photo. They're going to notice it more, and on average, photos that are portrait style, which means up and down, rather than landscape style, which means they're wider, will do better on Instagram.
All right, guys, so that is everything you need to know about how to take an amazing Instagram photo from start to finish. Now, obviously, there are some parts of this that I couldn't cover all in one video, like how to select your equipment, how to use your equipment, as well as how I learned to pose in my photos. However, you can join my free 5-day pose challenge in the show notes below, and you'll get an email each day teaching you how to do different poses and leveling up to the more difficult ones where you're more looking at the camera and need to have more self-confidence. So it's a lot of fun. It's meant to be just something that is exciting to do. Over 1,000 women have already completed it, so jump on board because it's awesome. And if you like this video and you like the pose challenge, that you're going to love my Photo Muse Masterclass, where I teach you exactly how to develop your own unique style, how to make lighting work for you, how to become your own master photographer. This is encompassing everything I've learned over the last 7 years about photography to make this sort of my life and my business. So if you're ready to level up, you can learn all about that in the show notes below as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up. Definitely share it with your friends, and I will see you next Wednesday for another amazing video about solo traveling or packing or more tips to help up-level your life and your travels. See you guys then.